put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. It is Tuesday, 12th November 2024, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kambi, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Albeit a little wet this morning, so of course, you have to walk with your umbrellas, your raincoats, or whatever it is that will protect you from the weather this morning as we head on into the middle or most of November and speedily into December. I wonder what your Christmas preparations are like this time of year. Are you cleaning, painting, renovating? What are you doing in your neck of the woods to get ready for that festive season? Whatever you're doing, we do hope that you remember to put God first. We do hope that you are taking the paces and not overextending yourself and expending too much of your finances to get that done. We do hope that you can have a wonderful season, of course, with all creating memories with your loved ones, family, and friends. Of course, we want to say thank you so much for choosing us this morning and for being part of our morning programming, inviting us into your world, whether you are in your kitchen this morning, in your garden, getting ready for work, whatever you're doing. We say thank you so much for choosing us and making us a part of your morning routine. We have a wonderful show lined up for you this morning, but before we get into all those conversations, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Adana, here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, November 12, 2024. In an effort to combat gun violence, Tobago police have seized approximately 400,000 worth of illegal firearms and ammunition this year. Despite the island's murder count reaching 25, an increase of 11 from last year, police remain committed to curbing homicides by removing more weapons. To date, they confiscated 21 firearms, including AK-47 rifle, pistons, a shotgun, and accompanying rounds of ammunition. Senior Superintendent Earl Eli highlighted the life-saving impact of each weapon taken off the streets and called on the public for continued support in the fight against illegal firearms in Tobago. Up next, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine plans to meet with MPs to discuss the Tobago autonomy bills, which are returning to Parliament for debate. The bills currently in the committee stage in Parliament could still be amended to better meet Tobago's needs, and Augustine hopes for support from the Prime Minister and other MPs. Emphasizing Tobago's rights to self-determination, Augustine expressed frustration with decades of minimal compromise and noted the bill's convenient timing before elections, raising concerns of political motives. And finally, amid growing speculations about the timing of the next general election, two political parties have renewed calls for a fixed election date. National Transformation Alliance leader Gary Griffith said his party is preparing for a possible January election, expressing frustration over the uncertainty surrounding the election date, which he describes as a sick joke. He criticized the current system that allows the Prime Minister to determine the date. Meanwhile, Timothy Hamel-Smith, leader of the Hope Party, also voiced support for a fixed election date, speculating that the election could fall between May and November of next year. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Biana, for our news there in 90 seconds. And of course, two things I want to bring out from the news this morning. Of course, commendations to the TTPS in terms of their crime fighting strategies and implementation. It's always good to know that they have a handle on things and that, they have apprehended or, as the news mentioned, confiscated those weapons. So they're off the streets. So we know, right, we have a better chance of, being safe on our nation's roads. And of course, the issue of Tobago autonomy, which is an ongoing conversation for the past couple of months, and of course we'll have that conversation this morning on the show as well. And we're talking about amendments to the bill, and of course when we're talking about amendments, we want it to be in our favor here in Tobago for our benefits. And what I don't want is an extended prolonging of the conversation, because we've been talking about autonomy for so many years. And here we are now with a bill at the committee level where they have the opportunity, of course, to make those adjustments. And I'm hoping that they wouldn't take as long to sit, discuss, propose adjustments and agree before any type of implementation. So, you know, from where I'm sitting, I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping that actionable steps can be taken and that we could move it from committee stage to passing them and implementation. What is your position where that is concerned as well?
Well, I share the same sentiments as you in terms of the lengthy time that, you know, it has been in the air, being discussed. You know, now it's time for action. Let's implement.
That's right. That's right. All right. So it's Tuesday morning, Biana. And, you know, of course, it started the week yesterday and we're looking forward to the rest of the week. And I do hope that you have a wonderful day today and a wonderful rest of the week to you as well. And thank you so much.
Same to you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the morning where we celebrate with all those who are celebrating. It's time for our birthday shout-outs. And this morning we are celebrating with Myron Moore. Myron Moore is celebrating a birthday today. And we do want to say happy birthday to Myron Moore. As he celebrates, we pray God's blessings upon your life. And we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday season. So happy birthday to you. Up next is Denise Guerra. Denise Guerra is also celebrating a birthday, and we want to say happy birthday to Denise Guerra. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday and a wonderful, wonderful year. And of course, as you know, if you are celebrating a birthday, you're celebrating an anniversary, you are celebrating a promotion, your retirement, we want to say happy celebration to you. And of course, congratulations on whatever it is you're celebrating today. And we, of course, have to remind you to give God thanks for life, to give God thanks for his blessings and his favor upon your life as well, because these things do not come by chance. It is divinely given to us. So we must remember to give him thanks. And in case we don't have your photos, we still celebrate with you as well. All right, you might be wondering, who are we speaking with this morning in studio? And I can tell you, you know, as we mentioned, we're speaking about autonomy for Tobago. So we speak with Mr. Kelvon Morris. He is the minority leader of the Tobago House of Assembly. And we're speaking about the status of the Tobago autonomy discussion and the things that have been presented and where we are and where we are hoping to be. So we're going to have that very, very interesting conversation. And of course, we do hope that you can be a part of the conversation. You can comment on our Facebook live stream to let us know what you think, what your position is as well. And then we speak with Mrs. Maud Guy-Kwamina. She is the chairman of the Bonaccord Diabetes Association, and with Dr. Maxwell Adeyemi. He is the chairman of the Scarborough Diabetes Association, and we're speaking about Diabetes Day Health Fair. Of course, another very, very important conversation as well, to get the information, get the knowledge, and to be in the know. And we do hope that you could stay with us throughout our programming this morning, whether you're viewing right here in Tobago, in Trinidad, the Caribbean region, the United States of America, Canada, perhaps the United Kingdom, the continent of Africa, Asia, or Australia. Wherever you are, we do hope that you could stay with us throughout the entire programming. And we say thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Remember, you can view us on our Facebook live stream, on our YouTube channel, or on Amplia 102. So stay locked in for the conversation this morning. We have to go for a short break before we begin. And as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 GB fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
Get ready for Tobago Star Quest Next Level 2024. Join us for an unforgettable night of talent and excitement as Tobago Star Quest, in collaboration with Tobago Updates, presents the first semi-final on Thursday, November 14th, 2024, and the second semi-final on November 28th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Shore Park Complex. Celebrate the incredible talent from across Tobago's communities and witness a showcase like no other. Admission is just $50. Don't miss your chance to support the stars of tomorrow. See you there.
Standards Black Friday deal starts now with 35% off select television, 30% off select appliances, 25% off Christmas decor, 15% off select divans, 20% off select furniture, and you can shop in store and online. Standards Black Friday deal. Nobody beats us on price. Believe it.
It's a different type of thing down there. Man, we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We begin the conversation this morning and we speak with Kelvon Morris, Minority Leader of the Tobago House of Assembly. And this morning we're talking about autonomy for Tobago. You might have heard the conversation in the airspace for a couple of months. Now, we've been speaking about it, going back and forth, and we know that at the stage it's at is at the committee level in the Parliament. And so we're going to have that discussion, understand what that means and where do we go from here. Good morning, Mr. Morris, and welcome.
Hi, good morning, Ms. Comby. Good morning, all of Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, and thank you for having me.
Of course, a pleasure indeed to have you, and of course, a pleasure also to have this type of conversation. As you are aware, we have been speaking about autonomy for Tobago for a number of years. We've been back and forth on this topic, and here it is again, and of course, gaining that type of traction. We are at the stage where two bills are at the committee level in the Parliament. A motion was passed, and now we are at the stage where we can make amendments where we see fit and necessary for the benefit of Tobago. So we want to have that conversation, but before we get to where we are in terms of the committee level, we want to talk about the contents, because we know that you passed a motion in the Assembly a couple of weeks ago. We want to talk about that aspect of it before we get into where do we go from here. So let's begin there. What are some of the elements that were part of the motion you proposed?
Sure. So just for the information of all viewers, during the heat and the middle of the carnival period, the Assembly, I took to the Assembly what I believe would have been the most important motion out of the 34 motions debated thus far. And that motion was a motion that dealt with specifically the House coming to a bipartisan agreement as to how we treat with these two critical bills that are in front of the Parliament. And it is quite interesting that while most of my colleagues found it important to be present at that very critical debate, notably absent from that debate was our Chief Secretary, and the Chief Secretary chose to go to Brazil on an education study tour than to come to the House and debate what he himself defined as the most important issue facing all of Tobago, which is this issue of autonomy. So we, on that Thursday, Carnival Thursday, I would say, went to the House, and the motion was so important that the Leader of Assembly Business requested from me that we meet at an earlier time as to allow all the major members of the Tobago House of Assembly to have an opportunity to have their say. And we debated that motion from 10 a.m. all the way up to 6 p.m. That is to tell you, it is one of the longest debated motions outside of the budget debate that we usually have in June of the legislative period. And so I just want to share with you, we had 3 critical resolutions, and this is the amended version of the motion. So I would have presented a motion which called for a resolution, and my resolution was that this House acknowledge that the provisions of these bills will have a far-reaching and positive impact on the powers of the Tobago House of Assembly, and that the quality of life that the quality of the life for all Tobagonians. I also took a resolution that said that this House unequivocally supports the swift and unhindered passage of these bills into law, recognizing that any further delay would perpetuate the long-standing disenfranchisement of the people of Tobago. And the final resolution was a resolution that said that this House encourages that these bills be passed, including an urgent bipartisan meeting between members of the Tobago House of Assembly and members of the Parliament to facilitate their smooth and timely enactment without further amendment. And my colleagues on the majority side amended the motion, and they made two amendments to the motion. They made an amendment in the recital, and I think it was the final recital of the motion where they amended a couple words and they added, and whereas these bills should represent a historic step forward, proposes substantive improvement to the Tobago's autonomy and authority, including the establishment of the Tobago legislature and the entrenchment of core provisions for Tobago self-governance. So they would have amended in that whereas, simply, I would have said these bills represents a historic step forward, proposing substantive improvements, and they simply changed the proposing substantive improvement to proposes substantive improvement to the Tobago's autonomy and authority, including establishment. So they made a minor adjustment to that. And the final resolution, so they accepted the first resolution, and I want Tobagonians to listen, because this is what the House, all the members of the Parliament of the Tobago House of Assembly who you elected to represent you, agreed, right? We agreed that first resolution we agreed on is that this House acknowledges that the provisions of these bills being the bills currently before the Parliament that is in the committee stage, should have far-reaching and positive impacts on the powers of the Tobago House of Assembly and the quality of life for all Tobagonians. So just to break it down, what we as the House agreed is in essence that the bills are in fact good bills that would improve the current status of the Tobago House of Assembly and the lives of the average Tobagonian. So that was agreed to by all and sundry, all representatives, and that is a motion that was agreed upon. They also agreed to further resolve that this House unequivocally supports the swift passage of these bills into law, recognizing that any further delay would perpetuate the long-standing disenfranchisement of the people of Tobago. So in other words, the House say pass the bills now. Don't stick, let us get these bills passed. That was also agreed upon without amendment. Where it had an amendment was in the final resolution. And to be quite honest, I, as the mover of the motion, had intended to amend my own motion, because the original motion said without further amendments. And I believed in hindsight that when you are going to a discussion or going to a negotiation, you always have to leave room for amendments. And therefore, we were already going to amend that very last statement that said without amendment. So I will read to you what was actually agreed upon as the final resolution. That this House encourages all necessary actions to ensure the passage of appropriate bills, including an urgent bipartisan meeting between members of the Tobago House of Assembly and members of the Parliament to facilitate their smooth and timely enactment with the necessary amendments. And this is what was agreed upon. So in other words, what the House approved was that all the members of the Assembly, we would do and take actions that would ensure that the bills currently in front of the committee stage of the Parliament is passed by one, encouraging and making sure we have a meeting between the members of the Assembly and the members of the Parliament. And what this meeting was, what the House envisaged this meeting would be, is that we would sit down together and hear where there are issues, to be, where Tobago believes, or the Tobago House of Assembly believe there are serious amendments needed at certain areas. We'll be able to have the conversations, have the negotiations, and come to a compromise position as to ensure there is agreement amongst the members of Parliament so that we can once and for all have these bills passed and Tobago can have the kind of autonomy that we would have envisaged from since the days of our great James Bigot all the way down to A.N.R. Robinson, Ochoy Charles, Orville London, Kelvin Charles, up to this day. And so this is what was agreed upon by the highest authority in the Tobago House of Assembly, the Assembly Legislature. And therefore, Ms. Combi, I must say, I find it quite disrespectful that the Chief Secretary will take a position after being absent from this very critical debate that he will bypass, he will disregard, and be in contempt of the House by taking on a position where he is now appointing a committee all by himself, maximum leadership, autocratic style, disregarding the approval that we as a House, all members, even his colleagues, sat, debated, and came to an agreement, and he's now disregarding that, putting together his own committee, and the Chief Secretary is so bold-faced to indicate that that committee that he's putting together without the input of no other political organization, no other political entity, he's saying that that committee is apolitical. And I'm asking myself, how does this committee appointed by a Chief Secretary who is doing this without the authority of the Tobago House of Assembly Legislature becomes apolitical? It is a sad day because we are talking about autonomy for the Tobago House of Assembly. And the Chief Secretary, no person the less, is blatantly disregarding and disrespecting the very institution he is now seeking to get more autonomy for. So I hope Tobagonians in a nutshell have an appreciation for the motion that was brought to the House by the minority before this time. It is quite interesting that before this 34th sitting, notwithstanding all that has been said in this space, no one found it important for us to take to the highest institution in the island this question and this conversation about Tobago autonomy until last October 24th, or so, 25th, I believe, when the minority took this very important motion, which got the entire assembly to agree upon.
Mr. Morris, you said quite a lot there, and of course
Yes.
you gave us the history, and we're now up to date in terms of how everything rolled out. And there are a few things that I wanted to get responses to, right?
Sure.
Especially the last point where you said that to ensure the passage of the meeting with the THA and the Parliament to discuss the way forward. Now you're talking about, of course, the Chief Secretary having another approach. Now that the agreement was passed in the House, the motion was presented and everybody agreed that this is the way we're going to go. We're going to have a meeting. What is the process, the procedure in terms of arranging, from the executive standpoint? Because now we have to get things done in a particular way that is on the books and that is acceptable in the social space, politically, legally, lawfully. What are the steps to make the arrangement for that meeting where the THA will sit with the Parliament and have the discussion to move the bills forward?
So I just want to say a couple of things with respect to the steps. And the first is that, this question of autonomy does not belong to any one individual, any one political organization in Tobago. It belongs to all the people of Tobago, ultimately, because it is a dream and it is an aspiration of the average Tobagonian to be able to have that level of self-government and self-determination where we govern our own affairs in a way where it is properly resourced, where we can make the laws, etc. So therefore, it is the first call. We are all representatives of the people first and foremost. And before you become a chief secretary or a minority leader, the first thing that happens as a legislator is that you are appointed and you take your oath of office as a representative elected by the people of Tobago. And therefore, any resolution, any authority, the highest authority comes from the assembly. And it is for that reason why even after the forum of political parties headed and led by Mr. London, after they went around to all of Tobago, gathered the views of Tobagonians, and then had the resolutions at Signal Hill Comprehensive School, and those resolutions were placed in the form of bills. It is for that reason why Mr. London did not simply say, I am the chief secretary, I would send this to the prime minister. No, those bills went to the Tobago House of Assembly, which is the authority, the place of authority, and those bills were debated and approved. And it is only when those bills were approved by the Tobago House of Assembly, it was transmitted to the Cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago, and it then went from the Cabinet onto the floor and then forwarded to a GSC, and then it came back as new bills that were rationalized by the GSC. And I say that to say, the process, therefore, is a process that always should be led where the legislator is a place where we have the debates and the agreements and the decisions and the ratification. And then, so in terms of steps, now that the legislature, we had the debate, even if the chief secretary wanted to put together a committee as part of the strategy, that should not be a decision made unilaterally by the chief secretary in a bipartisan arrangement. What the chief secretary ought to be doing is come to the House with another motion indicating, as part of the strategy, he now wants to appoint a committee and have the House ratify this committee, and then you now have the authority to also include to the cabinet and the members of parliament. This is what the assembly discussed, this is what the assembly agreed to, and this is a pathway that the assembly is hoping that you will facilitate. And it's up to the members of parliament, led by the chief secretary, putting that position to agree to this meeting, because we are requesting now a meeting. Well, we should be requesting now a meeting, and it is therefore, and I don't see parliamentarians as unreasonable people, for us to sit down, because the PNM has already guaranteed, as currently these bills have the support of the 22 members of the PNM in the lower house and the 12 or so senators, no, I think 16 senators in the upper house. And therefore, the UNC, I think I heard one spokesperson saying, whatever Tobago agrees upon, they would support. So it is a good place for us to start. And therefore, if we can bring the parliamentarians together, have the conversation, if the chief secretary believes, because I'm not too sure, the chief secretary is saying there are four non-negotiables, but I'm not too sure how did he arrive at that, because where was the consensus? What is the empirical data to suggest that Tobagonians as a majority, the majority of Tobagonians have decided that there are 4 things they are not willing to compromise on. But however, if that is the case, let us have the discussions. But you cannot by yourself determine and disregard this most important resolution, and Tobagonians need to stand up, because you see, the first step to dictatorship is autocracy. And when you have somebody operating in this kind of maximum style of leadership, where it is my way or the highway, it is a very dangerous and slippery slope. And we must stop this chief secretary, and I'm calling on Tobagonians to ask the chief secretary to honor the motion that was approved, and let us approach this issue in a bipartisan way that involves the input of all Tobagonians. Because here it is, you are saying that you appointed an apolitical team, but you had no input from even the current political parties, no input from IDA, no input from Unity of the People, no input from PDP, no input from PNM. Here it is, this chief secretary, who was not even appointed in the real sense as a TPP chief secretary, is now taking on this autonomy issue by himself. And you ask, where is the democracy? And it is ironic. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because I've just returned from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association parliamentary conference. And we are there talking about strengthening democracy and allowing the will of the people to have its way and its say. And return to a place where you have a chief secretary who is undermining the democracy and the democratic processes of the Tobago House of Assembly legislature, and that is objectionable, and we should all reject the chief secretary's approach.
Mr. Morris, I understand the frustration. And of course, as I mentioned, I also want the conversation to move speedily ahead. And I'm sitting here and I'm asking myself, is there a time frame, a time span in which that conversation can happen in terms of having the amendment to the bills that are in there? Because, as I mentioned before, this is not the first time we're talking about autonomy. Is there a time frame? This has been at the committee level, let's say a week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 4 months before. If we don't have the amendment, then we have to put it down again, or we go ahead with what's here. Is there a specific time frame for that to happen? Because we want to hit the ground running, don't we?
Yeah. So the point is, we know, and as far as I understand, the Prime Minister indicated that as soon as the budget debate is over, these bills will be taken from the committee stage to a final debate and a vote. And therefore, that tells me we don't have much time. And therefore, for the Chief Secretary to go on this process that seems to be very time-consuming just does not make sense to me. And this is why, as the process that I envisage and the process I got the House to agree upon is let the representatives of Tobago from all sides have the discussions with the representatives of Trinidad and Tobago from all sides, and let us have the agreements right there and then, so that when it goes on the floor, everyone will be on the same page, and therefore the opportunity of this failing will be lessened. And that is, I'm sure, even if you don't like Kelvon, you don't like the PNM, I'm sure any reasonable Tobagonian will say this is a very good approach. And therefore, it baffles me that the Chief Secretary will want to derail that process, disregard this process, and go on a process that really sort of starts this discussion all over again. Because I want to caution Tobagonians as well. This process is a process that started since 2007, culminating in resolutions at Signal Hill and the final bills being debated in the Tobago House of Assembly, and that was sent to Trinidad. And those bills represent consensus at the time, and therefore it is basically nonsensical for us to start a new debate, because a new debate means a new process. And while that new process is happening, it means that these bills will lose the opportunity to be passed, because from the time we have heard the debates, anybody who followed those debates in Parliament would understand that once Tobago is not united in its approach, the bills will fail, because you have the PNM already guaranteeing support even as the bills are in its current stage, support for those bills. But at the same time, you have the UNC, whose position was simply not to propose amendments, not to add to the debate, but simply to say we are rejecting these bills because some people in Tobago don't want it. And if that remains the mantra of some of my colleagues, that if the bills aren't perfect, or if the bills don't have everything in it that we want, then it is not good. Then the UNC would simply come to Parliament and say, Tobago say the bills aren't good and we're not going to support it, and that will be the end of the conversation. And you know what? We are left with the same Act 40 of 1996 to continue to cry and whine every year that we're not getting enough money, we can't make laws. And I find this such a very sad situation that we are going down, when we can simply come together and look at the bills, because the bills, what the resolution says is that the House accepts that even in its current state, the bills are good. It may not have everything that we want, but it have most things that we need.
And Mr. Morris, on that note, I want to jump in here on that note, talking about it might not have everything that we need. And we could recall in the recent town meeting that was held by the PNM, the political leader, Ansel Dennis, he mentioned that though the bills aren't perfect, they were enough to trigger the conversation again, right? And I want to ask the question, what are some of the things we hear the Chief Secretary talking about? There are 4 non-negotiables. And we know we have agreed that the bill is not perfect, right? We can agree that. You just said it yourself. You said that there are things that we might not have in the bill, but there are things that we can add. That is why we are at the stage of amendment. Hold on a second. That's why we are at the stage of amendment. In your view, from where you sit, yes, you are in agreement to move these things forward, but having the opportunity to make the amendments and to add, subtract, or multiply to where we are now, what is the one main thing or 2 main things that you would like to contribute to the amendment of the actual bills, as it were?
So I am at the position where I understand a bird in hand is better than 2 in the bush. And I say that because understanding that those who went before us also understood that. And that is why during the days of James Bigot, we were able to have county council, which was not perfect. And then up came A&R Robinson, who advocated along with Dr. Winston Murray, and they pushed for the creation or recreation of the Tobago House of Assembly in 1980. That also was not perfect. Then we had up comes Hochoy Charles, 1996, having the negotiations after A&R, and the same Mr. Robinson after NAR would have negotiated with UNC to become and to form the government, and they were able to push through Act 40 of the amendments of Act 40 of 1996, which we all know still is not perfect. And therefore, we are now faced with another situation where we have 2 bills, which we are again saying we know it is not the final destination. It does not have everything we want in it that says you have the full kind of self-governance that you want. But we know it is, and we accept that it is an advance. It gives us, for me as a Tobagonian, I will take this any day and run with it, because it gives us the money that we need. I doubt any Tobagonian would have a problem with us getting almost $4 billion to manage our affairs. I doubt any Tobagonian would have a problem with us having the authority now to legislate over fundamental day-to-day matters that are important to Tobagonians. I doubt any Tobagonian would have a problem with us now having more authority to treat with public service matters, teaching service matters. I doubt any Tobagonian would have a problem with us having the Fiscal Review Commission an independent authority where we can go and have discussions about additional funding. I doubt any Tobagonian would have a problem with us having the ability to borrow without any unreasonable denial from the Minister of Finance, the ability to invest. And I'm saying, when you look at the current complaints of this current administration, the bill addresses all those complaints perfectly. What I hear from this administration, one of the main points I've heard is that, okay, we want the bill to define Tobago as how it defines Trinidad. But in no way in the Constitution defines Trinidad. The Constitution defines Trinidad and Tobago. What this arrangement is allowing for Tobago is really defining the administrative areas to which whatever laws you make in Tobago or policies will impact. And therefore, if you look at the bills that were sent down, we asked for 12 nautical miles and they agreed to 11, which is 5 nautical miles more than what currently exists, because currently in the law, the Tobago House of Assembly law, it is 6 nautical miles. Some people are saying, well, we should draw a line through Trinidad and Tobago. But I am saying, okay, what is the reason why you want the line drawn? And I believe, if we are to be honest, most of us, we know and we believe that there are energy deposits in and around the Tobago space, and we want to be able to have a clear claim to that. So I believe that is where you have this push to draw a line. But if we continue to remain Trinidad and Tobago, I think it's reasonable to believe that whatever is owned by Trinidad and Tobago should be shared amongst the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And if you are already getting a fair share, which is 6.8% or higher, which amounts to almost 4 billion, then arguing about drawing a line becomes a moot point. The reason why you would want that kind of conversation, especially if it is to discuss your contribution, is if you believe your share is not fair. So if we are accepting, and I hope, if we are accepting as Tobagonians that 6.8% of the national budget is a fair share, which amounts to about 4 billion, then why would we be so consumed in trying to draw a line between the two islands and deny ourselves the other benefits of the self-governance arrangement, which is one of the main things I think as a legislator, and I feel it a lot of the time, is going to the House and not being able to actually put policy into law. What we do, we go there, we debate motions, and those motions we agree upon, but it is not enforceable by law. And it is because the legislature, as it currently exists, does not have lawmaking powers.
Mr.
And
Morris,
therefore, I would simply submit to Tobagonians that, notwithstanding the fact that everyone is admitting that the bills are not perfect, that is undisputable, but it is a definite advancement as agreed to in this resolution that will positively impact the lives of every Tobagonian.
Mr. Morris, if time permitted, we would continue on with this conversation this morning because, of course, we want to get to the end of this situation of autonomy and ensure that Tobago comes out with the best position possible. Even though the bills aren't perfect, there are areas for amendment, and I do hope that the conversation will start in the soonest possible time. We don't want the time to lapse, and we don't have the opportunity.
Well, Tobagonians need to call on the Chief Secretary to respect the resolutions and the approach as agreed to by the House. And that is the first step, because if the Chief Secretary goes down the road where he's going, then the death of these bills will be on his hands.
All right, Mr. Morris, thank you so much for joining us this morning and, of course, bringing us up to date as to where we are, the discussions and the things we need to do to move forward as it relates to the position of the autonomy for Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Mr. Kelvon Morris, Minority Leader of the Tobago House of Assembly, as it relates to autonomy for Tobago. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation, get in the know, find out what is in the bills and how it can impact the lives of us, all of us here on the island of Tobago. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio. And as we go for a break, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Tobago, your voice matters. The Police Complaints Authority invites the public to its community outreach session. We would love to hear from you. Feel free to attend and give us feedback. Join us Thursday, 14th November at the Canaan Bonaccord Multipurpose Facility from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Come share your thoughts, raise your concerns, and learn about how the PCA serves to ensure accountability within our police service. Your input makes a difference. Let's work together for a safer, stronger community. The Police Complaints Authority. Independence, integrity, and transparency in action.
Hey everyone, it's time to stand up and make a difference. This year, we're coming together for the war against crime. Bright and early at 5:30 a.m. on November 15th, we will be walking through the village of Golden Lane. And guess what? After our walk, there will be a delicious breakfast waiting just for you. And that's not all. Get ready for an aerobics burnout session where we'll be moving, grooving, and having fun.
Let's show that we care about our community. When we work together, we're sending a message. We want to live in a safe, happy place, free from crime. So grab your sneakers, tell your friends, and get ready to be a part of something big.
Remember, it's not just a walk, it's a way to show we all have the power to help make our world better. See you there!
Black Friday starts now at Courts. Get new and amazing deals every week with the lowest prices on the hottest electronics, top-of-the-line appliances, and stylish furniture. No need to waste your time shopping around. Plus, you can shop now and pay us in February 2025. Black Friday starts now. Don't miss out. Courts, bringing value home.
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We continue conversations this morning, and in studio we speak with Mrs. Maud Guy Kwamina, the chairman of the Canaan Bonacor Diabetes Association, and Dr. Maxwell Adeyemi, chairman of the Scarborough Diabetes Association. And today we're speaking about Diabetes Day Health Fair. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Right, and so we're talking about a health fair as it relates to diabetes. And we know diabetes is a conversation that we need to have a little bit more of, especially in our local spaces in the Caribbean and among people of our ethnicity. So tell us a little bit, give us a little history as to what diabetes is and the significance and importance of the health fair that is going to be held.
Well, basically, we know that diabetes is a chronic disease that affects quite a lot of persons on the island. The incidence in Trinidad and Tobago is in the upward of 14% of the population. Yeah, and that is those who are aware. The teaching is that half of those people who are diabetic are not also even aware that they are. So you may have incidence of 2%, but there actually may be 4 or 5. So this is a chronic disease that affects practically everybody, every household, and therefore the essence of our fair is to raise the awareness, create an awareness of screening so that people can actually get tested and be able to determine, their status and take interventions.
Is there an age range? Because I know there are some diseases or some situations that is relative to age. Is there an age range? Let's say by the time you get to 40, you have to start checking for diabetes, or by the time you are 60, you have to start checking, or is it as long as you are breathing? Is there a specific range you look for? Tell me a little bit about that.
We think as much as you are breathing, you should start to look, because some people, some children, they are born diabetics, and as from small age, some could be 4, 5, 8. We have juvenile diabetics, and you really have to look out for them.
So there's no discrimination with age.
None.
Are there things that you can use to identify that perhaps you might be falling in a diabetic category, or is it just because at 6 years old, how would I know that I need to take my child for screening for diabetes? Are there signs that you look for, or how do you approach that situation?
Yes, they could have signs like let us say wetting of their bed often. That is one of the main things in children, and for that you take them to the doctor, and then they would observe as they do testing other things leading up to that.
Yeah. And in terms of, I know part of the way we eat and our recreation, our socialization can contribute to having diabetes or living with diabetes. And what are some of the things that we can do generally, whether you have diabetes or you do not have diabetes? What are some of the things that we can do to help us to live healthy enough, or in a healthy space where we reduce the risk of or manage if we have diabetes?
Well, in reducing it, you should use less sugar. And for the children, most time the infants, the mother would give them sugar tea, sugar snacks. You should start from beginning, not giving them those sugar snacks and so forth. Even when they are small, all 2 years, 1 year, where you start introducing food, you should not give them sugar meals.
And of course, you have to include the exercise and stuff like that as well.
Well, the little ones would exercise a lot,
right?
But the older one, we introduce exercise, which you can do gardening, go walking, go on the beach, swimming, you know, little things that they may able to do. They are all exercise. Maybe walk up the steps if they have steps, walk up the steps up and down in the day. Do little things that would keep them going.
And from, your experience, and in the Tobago space, I know you mentioned that 14% of Trinidad and Tobago probably has affected by diabetes, and it could be more. This is just what is on record. In the small spaces that you occupy in your communities, let's say for Canaan, Bonacor, or Scarborough, where people come in, what are the numbers looking like in ratio to the persons who are residents here in Tobago?
The number are more or less comparable to what you find in Trinidad as well. If not, Tobago is a little, on my own little experience, a little more because of the population that we have. For a population of maybe 50, 60,000 people, and the number of the people that we see in the lifestyle diseases clinics, I think were a little too much. All right, and therefore there has to be some kind of intervention at some point that will create some kind of degree of reduction in the ailments that we get.
And so the opportunity here is now for the diabetes health fair that is taking place. So let's talk about the actual fair, when it is going to take place, and what participants can expect when they come to the fair. So I see the fair is taking place right here on the Port Mall in Scarborough on the 14th, which is Thursday. So let's, I see stuff like foot care, eye screening and stuff like that. Let's talk about what persons can expect when they come in here on Thursday.
Right, this is an initiative of the two branches of the Diabetes Association of Trinidad and Tobago. We do have a national body that is based in Trinidad, so Tobago has two branches, and one in Canaan, one in Bonacor. And basically we are teaming up to create this Diabetes Day awareness, because we know November 14th is the World Diabetes Day that is, globally, observed. So we're going to be having screening right at the Port Mall here for diabetes, for hypertension, cholesterol, and weight and height, and all those things will be there. Then we also have screening for eye complications, foot care complications. We also will be having hearing testing. The vaccination team or the immunization team will also be here for people who want to get their vaccines. There's going to be an opportunity to get vaccinated on that day. So we'll have a whole range of activities, giveaways and stuff like that, because we do have a collaboration also with the Eastern Credit Union. They have donated some glucose testing machines. All right, so we will be able to give out some of those on that day, and there will be also some games and excitement for young people, puzzles and quiz and different kind of things that will keep people excited.
I like the fact that it will be engaging, but what I'm more interested in is, you're talking about foot care, eye screening, dental screening, nutrition screening. Are these some of the things that are impacted by the diabetes disease? For instance, your eyes and your dental and your feet. Are these some of the things that you are saying that?
Basically, diabetes affects from your head to your toe, practically every organ. So we try to focus on the different organs, okay, because you do have eye problems when you have diabetes eventually. You do have dental problems, you do have feet problems, and then the nutrition part of it is to try to guide you in terms of how to, navigate your eating habits to keep your glucose level down.
And so during the fair that is taking place on Thursday, when patrons come through for screening, is it that they're going to be like a mini consultation in terms of, giving them the information and, the guidelines as to where they can go next? Because let's say, for instance, I'm strolling through the mall and I see the fair, I participate, I get tested, and I realize that, oh, my number's a little bit high. What happens next?
We normally refer them to their health center, which community they belongs to. They go for referral there. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good because, sometimes we just need to have that measure of support in terms of ensuring, you don't want to get startled and then what happens next. So that measure of support is there, of course. And I do hope that people come out. Tell me what time is happening from?
9 until 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And I must put in a plug there. Not only this community event we are doing, we do schools too, where we pick up children who are diabetics in early age, hypertensive, and we refer them to their community health center.
That is absolutely amazing because, as I said, you want to detect early and put the right steps in place to ensure that these things can happen. And I want to, make a call for all of Tobago. Your health is very important to you. And as Dr. Max said, that the figures, the statistics is based on what is on record. You might not know what your position is. You might not be on a record, so you do not know. If you have the time on Thursday, if you're in the Scarborough area, come down to the Port Mall between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. to get tested, get screened, get the information and the referral if you need it. And also, just get the encouragement to live that type of healthy lifestyle. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers before we close?
We have the agriculture department. They would be there, not only giving you plants, but telling you how you can grow plants, because sometimes we don't think we can grow them even in our little blocks hole or in our little flowers pot among the flowers, in the hanging baskets. So they will be there to encourage you.
Right, so it's a holistic type of space that you're creating for persons to be able to, participate there and get the numbers, know what is happening, and referrals. Dr. Max, in closing, is there any other information you'd like to share?
Yeah, basically, my note is that don't assume that you're okay. Don't just come to the conclusion that you're okay, get checked out. Because a lot of us think that we're okay. Because we're bouncing around up and down the place and everything seems right and nice for the time being. I think we should disabuse our mind. It doesn't matter. You could be a nurse, you could be a manager, you could be a supervisor, you could be a doctor, you could be... Diabetes is a disease that does not discriminate on anybody, profession, age, or whatever. So don't assume that you're okay. Take the step to get checked. Take the courage, I should say, because a lot of us are afraid to get checked sometimes. So get the courage to get checked and be sure that you're okay.
Very, very sound advice there, of course. It really is a courageous thing to do because, as you mentioned, especially culturally, we kind of take a back seat as to, our health. We don't take the proactive approach. So that's very, very sound advice there. Remember, it is happening this Thursday right here on the Port Mall from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I believe it's absolutely free. You don't have to pay for the screening. Of course, in collaboration with the Eastern Credit Union, helping out there with the machines, the glucose testing machines there as well. Lots of fun, games, excitement, quizzes, maybe just for you to know, or to know if you know, and to, of course, educate you on things related to diabetes and your health as well. So if you do have the time, do pass by. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have to end the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, but it's not where we end our programming. We head on over to GMT. And as we go, we do want you to have a wonderful day. But before we go, we ask you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. Stay with us.
is a girl, she is wise and wary of flames, but still, she knows she will survive the fire life scorches sometimes. She has been a phoenix before, and every time she burns to ashes, she knows exactly how to rise again. Those powerful words used describes how powerful girls can be throughout life. And recently, the world celebrated International Day of the Girl Child with the theme, Girls' Vision for the Future. And to commemorate this day, some of the island's most empowering women had the opportunity to share their stories and experiences with female students at Scarborough Roman Catholic Primary School.
Today's program, featured especially on the girls, was instrumental. We looked for persons who we thought could encourage, give them that boost of confidence and so forth. I think the selection, it was good, and the students seemed very receptive. I was roving throughout the presentation, so I would have peeped into the different classrooms, and they were quite receptive.
Is that this year's theme is looking at females breaking barriers and just breaking through any glass ceiling. My industry is media and communications, and as I was saying to the young ladies, we have not very many females in some of the portfolios within media and communications, so like the graphic artists and the videographers and the photographers. It's really predominantly males. So it was an opportunity to encourage them to look outside the regular jobs or the regular professions and venture into some unorthodox professions which are really growing and becoming very, very popular in today's society.
Well, I've always been at RSC and participating in their activities. It's always a unique experience, I must say, to be here today to give or to motivate the students, the girls, as it's International Girl Day. It's quite it's an honor to do that, I must say. They were really excited, and that actually increased my excitement. So I am really pleased that the energy was awesome, and I hope that my message was well received.
So today I had to present on deportment to the young ladies. I think that's something that's very important to instill in our young women, showing them how to carry about themselves. It helps to instill confidence, helps them to understand themselves a bit better, to know that I am a woman. When I walk into a room, I need to exude that confidence and show people that I mean business. It was very receptive by both Standard 5 and Standard 4. They enjoyed it thoroughly. The Standard 4 class was really, really receptive. They wanted me to model on my way out, which I did, and you heard all the rockers in the room. And that was such an amazing feeling, just being able to give back to the young people of Tobago as a fellow Tobagoan.
I learned that girls are unique and they're special in their own way. It was very nice. I enjoyed myself. I learned about being each other's keepers. I learned about new jobs, and I learned about photographing, video art and stuff today. I enjoyed these sessions because it was fun, it was very uplifting, and I think it should continue throughout Trinidad and Tobago for the girls in Trinidad and Tobago.
International Day of the Girl Child is celebrated on October 11th annually.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
needed to do this. And by this, I mean recognize publicly the persons that not only participated in the 2024 edition of the Tobago Heritage Festival, but the persons who put their best feet forward, put their talent on display. This morning we are here to recognize the winners across the categories in the Tobago Heritage Festival Calypso Monarch competition, our folk fiesta, our Junior Miss Heritage competition, and to distribute checks to our community groups that participated.
Hi, I am Gavi Sandy. I participated in the Tobago Heritage Calypso Monarch and I am the winner, second time in a row. I'm very excited, not only about collecting the check, but collecting it at a faster time than last year. You know, that's something I really appreciate. They put in the effort to pay out the monies faster, and I truly appreciate that.
I am Lesbian Ellis, mother of Gavi Sandy, and I placed in the Tobago Calypso Heritage Monarch, and I placed fourth, second time in a row. While I appreciate getting the money earlier than last year, I wish I had it for my birthday, which was in September.
We are grateful for the monies because, you know, we work very hard, and I mean, when you work hard, you must get paid. But apart from that, you know, we take pride in our culture. We do not do it for the money. We do it to keep the culture alive, to spread, you know, the information, you know, the knowledge. So that's and for the fun, we enjoy what we do.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Tobago, your voice matters. The Police Complaints Authority invites the public to its community outreach session. We would love to hear from you. Feel free to attend and give us feedback. Join us Thursday, 14th November at the Canaan Bonaccord Multipurpose Facility from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Come share your thoughts, raise your concerns, and learn about how the PCA serves to ensure accountability within our police service. Your input makes a difference. Let's work together for a safer, stronger community. The Police Complaints Authority. Independence, integrity, and transparency in action.
Start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say
forever strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we're stronger. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am Chanel Felix, and you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask the questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. In an effort to combat gun violence, Tobago police have seized approximately $400,000 worth of illegal firearms and ammunition this year. Despite the island's murder count reaching 25, an increase of 11 from last year, police remain committed to curbing homicides by removing more weapons. To date, they confiscated 21 firearms, including AK-47 rifles, pistols, and a shotgun, as well as accompanying rounds of ammunition. Senior Superintendent Earl Eli highlighted the life-saving impact of each weapon taken off the streets and called on the public for continued support in the fight against illegal firearms in Tobago. Additionally, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine plans to meet with MPs to discuss the Tobago Autonomy Bill, which are returning to Parliament for debate. The bills currently in committee stage in Parliament could still be amended to better meet Tobago's needs, and Augustine hopes for support from the Prime Minister and other MPs, emphasizing Tobago's rights to self-determination. Augustine expressed frustration with decades of minimal compromises and noted the bill's convenient timing before elections, raising concerns for political motives. Amid growing speculation about the timing of the next general elections, two political parties have renewed calls for a fixed election date. National Transformation Alliance (NTA) leader Gary Griffith said his party is preparing for possible January elections, expressing frustration over the uncertainty surrounding the election date, which he described as a sick joke. He criticized the current system that allows the Prime Minister to determine the date. Meanwhile, Timothy Hamel-Smith, leader of the Hope Party, also voiced support for a fixed election date, speculating that the election could fall between May and November of next year. And that was on news in 90 seconds. Now, this morning we are speaking about the foreign exchange crisis, as some might like to refer to it. And this morning, to have that conversation with me, I am speaking up to the Tobago Business Chamber, and we are chatting with Mr. Martin George, Attorney Martin George. Good morning and welcome.
And good morning to all your viewers, and I hope it's a wonderful day for everyone.
Excellent. Now, some persons don't want to refer to it as a crisis simply for the fact that there is a segment of the population who have been having this same issue in accessing forex currency for a long time, while some persons have been having more privilege to have access through means of business and stuff like that. But now it has become more apparent because a larger demographic is being affected by this forex shortage or crisis, as you refer to it as. Can you talk to us about what we're seeing here now, and do you deem this to be unprecedented?
Well, I mean, the thing is, to say that it's unprecedented is not really accurate because it's actually like a slow moving crisis that we've been watching and witnessing for years now in Trinidad and Tobago. And basically, it's almost like you're standing on the tracks, the train is coming down on the tracks, and you're not slowing down or stopping the train, and you're not moving out of the way. So, it's like inevitable that it will happen because you look at this scenario. The reality is our foreign exchange earnings have been declining rapidly year after year after year for the last 10 years or so. Our earnings from oil and gas have reduced. Our earnings from other non-oil exports have not matched the shortfall that we've experienced. The oil and gas companies are paying less in revenues and taxes. In fact, I saw recently where one of them suggested that they're going to start paying their earnings in TT dollars rather than in US currency, even though they are earning it in US currency, and therefore it should be remitted to the country in US currency. So the thing is, our reserves of foreign exchange have been under threat and under assault for years now, and we have done nothing as a nation, nothing as a country to change that tide. So therefore, it is not surprising that we are facing this debacle now. And you ask yourself, what have our leaders done to avert this situation or to avert this crisis? That's what good leadership and management is supposed to be about. So therefore, central government has to take the responsibility and, along with that, the blame for not dealing with this in a timely manner to ensure that we don't face this type of crisis. You look at all the other small islands of the Caribbean. You go to St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada, Barbados. None of them have a foreign exchange crisis like what we have. Clearly, they are doing something different from us that we are not doing. And, they don't have the oil and gas reserves that we have. They haven't been piggybacking on that US dollar inflow from an energy economy. So therefore, what are we doing? I mean, in fact, I saw recently where, some folks from Guyana were basically laughing at us. Of course, I mean, they have it in their craw, that, they've been so, I guess, maybe minimized and marginalized over the years that, now that they are, riding high on their oil and gas reserves, they're basically rubbing it in our faces to say, well, look, we have no trouble accessing US dollars in Guyana, So, I mean, the reality is that this is not a surprising or, as you describe it, unprecedented scenario, because it is quite clear that the precedent was set and all the markers and signposts were there showing that this is what would happen, because we have declining foreign exchange earnings and therefore declining foreign exchange revenues, and you are not doing anything to boost other sectors sufficiently to make up the shortfall.
Right.
In addition,
how can
the
you
government's
go
policy,
go ahead?
in addition to this, the government's policy in terms of maintaining the fixed exchange rate has also contributed to it, because, of course, you are not allowing free market forces to determine the supply and demand. You are keeping the rate pegged at this, basically what is like a fixed floating rate, or a managed float. That's what they call it, a managed floating rate. All right. And that, again, is something that, really and truly, the IMF has spoken out against. But of course, for, I guess, political reasons and political expediency, it is clear that no government in Trinidad and Tobago wants to be the one to say, well, look, we had to do a devaluation, because they think that a devaluation is going to be basically a political death knell for them. All right. So you have all these factors in the mix, and then now you have the scenarios where the central bank, the commercial banks are now putting further restrictions on the availability of foreign exchange, even what you may have in your account at the bank. So, that now makes it even crazier. So what are you asking? That people go back to hiding money in their mattress and under their pillows and, under their beds? Is it that we are going back to?
Understood. And so one of the key questions that persons are asking specifically in the business community is that Christmas is coming. And that's when a lot of persons see a huge uptick in sales, especially when it comes to import sales. How can you see this forex situation in Trinidad and Tobago having a negative impact on business for Christmas?
Well, obviously, because if it is that people are not able to purchase the goods that they are importing or pay for them in a timely manner, then obviously there will be less available to sell. Some businesses are going to suffer, particularly if they rely on a lot of imports. There are lots of, I know small business persons who, they do lots of imports from, companies like Shane and, others overseas. There are some people who import from Amazon or whoever. So the reality is that you are going to see some, particularly the smaller business persons, suffering because, people had actually resorted to using the credit cards as their source of the forex, because when you go into the banks directly, it's so difficult to get the foreign exchange that people were basically using their credit cards and then topping it back up in TT. So therefore, you use the US allocation on your credit card and top it back up in TT. But when the banks keep reducing the availability of that US allocation on your credit card, then of course it limits your ability to use this as a mechanism to obtain foreign exchange. So it is going to be critical. And then you add to that the challenges and difficulties at the port and, the onerous fees and tariffs that they charge you, when you're coming through the ports. So, it really creates a climate that almost it's designed to stifle and frustrate business and business persons more than facilitate it. And that is what I find so difficult to comprehend, because on the one hand you have the government saying, well, we want to develop the country, we want to develop business, we want to develop these things, but yet still you have so many restrictions and frustrations and obstacles and hurdles. You ask yourself then, is it that you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth? Because if you really want to develop and encourage and facilitate business, then you have to make it easier. You have to facilitate the ease of doing business. We are one of the most difficult countries in the world to do business in, because there are so many restrictions and so much red tape. And, you go to companies registry, it's a whole, run around all the time. You go to legal affairs, look at the situation even now with the, Registrar General's Department in Tobago, that imbroglio and standoff has not yet ended, so therefore just simply registering certain documents, you're getting such a headache. So, we really have to ask ourselves, is this the way we want to develop a nation, particularly if you want to talk about getting towards first world standards?
Understood. And is it a situation where you believe that a number of local businesses should now turn towards having those online platforms for their business, taking the credit card payments and setting up payment systems that are outside of Trinidad and Tobago? Let's say, for instance, utilizing systems like PayPal and other online banks like TransferWise to receive foreign currency, then holding that foreign currency outside of Trinidad and Tobago, allowing them to have an alternative means of access to US dollars and other foreign currencies.
If that is one solution, I think, yes, people will start looking at those as options. And let me tell you this, it is so much easier to open a bank account in other countries than it is in your own country of Trinidad and Tobago. I had the experience earlier this year where a friend, of mine, I was able to arrange for her to go into a US bank. And within 30 minutes, she walked out of that bank with 3 brand new accounts opened in the US within 30 minutes. They didn't know her. She doesn't live in the US. She's not a citizen. She's not even a resident. She was just there on vacation. And the greatest part of it, she did not have to put 1 cent to open any of the accounts. They opened all the accounts and they told her, no, there's no need to put any money right now. Whenever you need to, you would deposit as you see fit. Imagine that. In 30 minutes. In Trinidad and Tobago, sometimes you take 30 weeks and you still can't get 1 account opened. They keep sending you back. They want this, they want that, they want, they want to know, from your parents, this, that, the other. You have to get your landlord to send this. You have to get this. You have to get your light bill. You have to get proof of address. You have to get all the 2 forms of ID. You have to get, and they just keep sending you back over and over and over again. And worse yet, if it's a business account you want to open, man, you have to produce, 3 years of audited accounts. The restrictions and hurdles and obstacles that they put in your way, they are beyond belief. It's almost as if it's deliberately designed to frustrate you out of doing business.
Now, the Minister for Finance, he indicated that floating the currency or allowing it to fluctuate will raise the cost of living for persons who are already living beneath the recommended standard. Do you agree with him saying this?
No, he didn't say floating it. What he said is if you allow the free market forces, so in other words, if you remove the managed float, so if you remove the restrictions that are there in place now by the central, basically I think they're suggesting that it will first shoot up to maybe about 10-1 in terms of the exchange rate. And he says accordingly, you will see inflation taking place in the domestic market because of the price that you will now have to pay for US currency. So, there is some logic to that, and one can understand that argument. But, again, the question is then, what is the government doing as a solution? We of the Tobago Business Chamber have proposed at least one immediate solution that can take place, and the central government can implement that tomorrow. We have said, remove and repeal the Foreign Investment Act. The Foreign Investment Act is a piece of legislation which came into force around 2007, 2008. And what it has done, it has restricted and crippled and totally dried up all direct foreign investment into Tobago, because they have put in so many hurdles, so many, hoops you have to jump through, so many obstacles in that legislation that in the 16 or so years of its existence, there has not been even to say 1 successful application per year. Not even 1 successful application per year, So therefore, it's not even 16 successful applications you could point to since the legislation has been in place. So therefore, basically, you have stopped all direct foreign investment. Whereas all the other small islands of the Caribbean are rolling out the red carpet for investors. They are implementing programs. Look at Dominica. They have their citizenship by investment program. They have other programs inviting investors, encouraging investors. They have, arrangements with foreign governments, for direct foreign investment. We are not doing that. Instead, we are happily laughing and chasing away investors and then keeping this stupid legislation on the books. And I make no apologies for describing it that way, because it serves absolutely no useful purpose except to deprive us of much needed foreign exchange and direct foreign investment.
Why do you think that this outdated legislation still exists?
I think it's just political reasons. You need to ask the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister. They will be the ones to answer that. But it seems to me to clearly just be political reasons why they keep that on the books. If you look back at the of it, that might explain why.
Understood. Now we're going to take a quick break and we're going to return very soon as we chat about the Tobago Crime Stopper Unit. Guys, we're going to take a quick break here and we'll be back right after this. See you soon.
The energy fill the skies.
Black Friday starts now at Quartz. Get new and amazing deals every week with the lowest prices on the hottest electronics, top-of-the-line appliances, and stylish furniture. No need to waste your time shopping around. Plus, you can shop now and pay us in February 2025. Black Friday starts now. Don't miss out. Quartz, bringing value home.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Now, we have been chatting with the Tobago Business Chamber by means of attorney Martin George, and you are also one of the directors at the Crime Stoppers unit here in Tobago, and you have pledged your support from a business perspective as well as from the perspective of you being an attorney at law. And so the thrust is towards reinvigorating that unit and getting everyone on board. Tell us a bit about that.
All right, yeah, so we are going to be coming across to Tobago at the end of the month, the entire team from Crime Stoppers Trinidad and Tobago. All right, so I got all my fellow directors on board, so we are going to be coming across and we'll be there for the weekend. All right, we've already reached out to the Chief Secretary and he has pledged his support and commitment to the initiative. And we will be reaching out to the minority leader because we want this to span across all political divides. We want everybody to participate and be a part of this because crime affects all of us. Criminals are not concerned with which political party you support when they attack you. If you understand me, they attack across the board. So therefore, we want to ensure that everybody is part of it. We want the two Tobago MPs to be involved, to be part of it. And we want to ensure that everybody, understands the message and the importance and the value that Crime Stoppers provides, in the sense that when you think of it, we have provided a platform, right, through that 800 tips number, whereby you can actually call in and give information on crime and criminal activity anonymously. There's no call ID, there's no call tracing, there's no, callback system. So in other words, nobody will know who is calling. And when you do call in with useful and valuable information, you are assigned an ID number, which the Crime Stoppers would call your tip number. So then when you are calling back, You don't have to say, well, you give your name to say, well, look, I'm calling back about that. No, you just give the tip number, which Crime Stoppers assigned you. You just call out that number and they know which file it is, which matter it is that you're following up on. In fact, the system is so seamlessly integrated in terms of the anonymity in that you even can collect your reward anonymously. So if your tip is useful and they decide, well, yes, you deserve a reward for your tip, all right, okay, and the rewards sometimes go up to like $10,000, depending on the value of the information that you have given, all right, you go to any Scotiabank, they will tell you, just go to the manager and give your same tip number. You just go to the manager, you just call out your tip number, and they hand you your reward. No questions asked, no ID needed. In fact, let me tell you, the system is so perfect. You yourself don't even have to go to collect the tip. So if you feel that, well, look, just in case, you don't want to go, you could send somebody, just tell them to tell the manager that tip number. And once the Crime Stoppers has approved that tip and they have notified the manager to expect someone coming with that tip number, you could send someone, a friend, a family member, whoever, send them in with that tip number. They just give that number to the manager and the reward is paid. No ID needed, no questions asked. So it is really, really a good system. And let me tell you, persons sometimes say, well, Tobago is small and stuff like that. So even for collecting your tip, we have in the past arranged for some Tobagonians to collect their tips collect their rewards in banks, in Scotiabanks in Trinidad. So you could decide, well, look, I want to collect it at Scotiabank in Tunapuna, or Scotiabank in Port of Spain. That's okay, that's fine. You just tell us which one works for you. We notify the manager once it is that you are eligible for a reward, and we give the manager your tip number, and you go in anytime and you just give them that number, you get your reward. So it really, really is a good system. And we want to sensitize and encourage people in Tobago to use it. So, in other words, we all have a part to play in stamping out crime and criminality. And let me tell you, the information is out there. People in the communities, they know what is going on. They know who is doing what and who is, the responsible for this, that, the other. So therefore, that information, once you get it to us, we will then pass it on to the authorities, so therefore they can act on it. So therefore you don't have to say, well, look, you're afraid of going into a police station or talking to the police. That's okay. We act as an interface and an intermediary where you can forward the information through us. We then pass it on to the police authorities and they will then act on it. So they don't have a clue who provided the information. All they know, they got it from Crime Stoppers and they will then act on it.
Excellent. And you said that the program would be in Tobago this weekend. Is it just this weekend only?
No, not this weekend, at the end of the month. At the end of the month.
Is it
so we're just doing a big rollout. But it's available for use all now. That number, 800 tips, anyone can call it. You could call it now.
Excellent. And you said all stakeholders would be invited to that session that would be held. All right. Well, we want to thank you so much, Mr. Martin George, for giving us your perspective on that forex crisis that we're seeing happening here in Trinidad and Tobago, as you deemed it, as well as all that's happening with Crime Stoppers. Guys, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to be back right after this. See you soon.
All right. Thank you.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion starter.
Get
Get ready for Tobago Star Quest Next Level 2024. Join us for an unforgettable night of talent and excitement as Tobago Star Quest, in collaboration with Tobago Updates, presents the first semi-final on Thursday, November 14th, 2024, and the second semi-final on November 28th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Shore Park Complex. Celebrate the incredible talent from across Tobago's communities and witness a showcase like no other. Admission is just $50. Don't miss your chance to support the stars of tomorrow. See you there.
Standards Black Friday deal starts now with 35% off select television, 30% off select appliances, 25% off Christmas decor, 15% off select divans, 20% off select furniture, and you can shop in store and online. Standards Black Friday deal. Nobody beats us on price. Believe it.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates Now. As you have just seen on our screen, we are talking about the Tobago Star Quest, and we have in studio with us one of the semi-finalists here. We have Miss Sophia LeBon Downs. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Now we just seen a little snippet of your performance, and we are looking forward to even more from the semifinals. You are in the cohort that would be presenting this Thursday at the Shaw Park Cultural Complex. Now, are you feeling like a winner?
Oh, yes, I am.
Right. So you are promising to bring it this Thursday. Tell us about your preparation for Thursday.
It has been really challenging. To the point where, you know, the feedback from the judges at my audition, you know, I took it into consideration. It was really, really hard work. It was sleepless nights. It was, you know, bringing out something that I know that was already there. So I intend to bring it bigger and better than from my
And
last
do you
performance.
have a vocal coach, or are you in professional training for your voice?
Yes, I do.
Right. And so for you, what would have gotten you interested in the competition? Did someone prompt you to get involved? Did you see the ad and decided you want to put yourself out there? How did you come to the point of being a part of the semifinals?
So a friend of mine sent me the information. But within self, you know, I feel like this is the opportunity that I wanted ever since I guess I could talk. You know, so I've always wanted to put myself out there as a vocalist, as an artist, because it's not the first time, you know, that I'm, you know, being out there singing, because, you know, at a point I used to sing at Magdalena, I used to sing at Starfish Hotel. So, you know, I guess that this is the opportunity for people to really get to know not just who Adara is, which is my middle name, which I go by, but who Sophia LeBon Downs is as an artist. So I'm using this opportunity to put myself out there, to tell my story through music.
Okay, no problem. And for you, have you gotten a chance to scan the competition? How are you feeling? Do you feel as though there are a number of other really talented Tobagonians that are a part of it? Do you think it's going to be tough, or are you looking forward to doing this while you sleep?
I think that there are a lot of, you know, talented artists out there. So it's really going to be a challenging competition, you know, but I wish each and everybody the best. And I look forward to seeing everybody audition, everybody practice, everybody, you know, hard work put out there, you know, to see what they have been working on.
Is there anything in particular that you've encountered during the competition that you were not expecting?
Yes, I have encountered, you know, fears that I have previously dealt with. You know, the nature of my song is, you know, it varies. It's a story. So some parts of the story is sad, some parts is happy. So, you know, you have to dig deep to bring out that, to really show the judges, you know. So, you know, it has been tough, but I must say that I have learned a lot. I have learned something about myself that I haven't even, you know that it was there. But as I said, I really look forward to this competition.
Well, we look forward to you bringing out all those emotions and really connecting with your audience on Thursday. We look forward to your performance. Now, there are a number of other artists that are going to be a part of that cast. We also have Mr. Jeremy Stewart, and we're going to take a look at his performance during the auditions as well.
Very much further. I don't want to have to go where you don't follow. I won't hold it back.
Overjoyed, I am building my castle of love. just for two, though you never knew you were the reason. I've come much too far for you now to say that I've got to throw my castle away over dreams. I have picked out the perfect come true. Though you never knew it was of you I was dreaming. I've come much too far for you now to say that I've got to come back some other day. And even though that you don't believe things to come true, but my dream becomes the day that I looked at you. And maybe if you would believe, you too will be overjoyed over love over me. Over hearts I have painfully turned every stone, just to find that I found what I searched to discover. I've come much too far for you now.
All right, welcome back. And as you seen there during the audition, we had Mr. Jeremy Stewart, and we have him in studio with us. And I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked Miss Sophia. Do you feel like a winner?
Yes, I do. Thank you for having me here this morning.
Right. So what dictated the song that you would be choosing for the semifinals?
So for the semifinals, what I wanted to give to the audience and to the judges was not only my vocals but my creativity. So I wanted to take a song that persons would be familiar with and try something a little different with it, something maybe hopefully a little bit more refreshing and well accepted.
Okay. And for you, how has preparation been for the semifinals, and do you see yourself being a part of the finals?
So in terms of preparation, honestly, it's a bit hectic, but it's nothing that can't be managed. Thankfully enough, the organizers has given us a lot of tools and opportunities to reach out to them for help when it comes to the preparation. So everything is falling into place, smoothly so far. And if everything goes according to plan, yes, I do see myself in the finals.
All right. And you have looked at the competition. You've seen your competitors. You've seen how competitive this is. Did you go into it expecting it to be this intense?
Honestly, no. Getting into the competition was a bit rough, as in, encouraging myself to take that step forward. But only until after my auditions, I really got to understand the whole spectrum, really get to grasp the whole concept of what is really happening. And to me, it's very exciting now that I really understand the stakes.
Right. And so you think that it is bigger than you thought when you first got into it? You said you're only now understanding what is at stake. Did you think that maybe this is just a little talent competition? And when you got there, you realized like, wow, these are the big dogs here on the island of Tobago.
Yeah, but I didn't blow it off too low. I mean, I always take opportunities for exposure very seriously. So, the scale of the exposure that I'm experiencing now is what has me blown away, honestly. So now it encourages me even more to do even better than I had set out to do before.
Right. Is there anything that you want to say to Tobagonians in terms of coming out and being a part of what is happening at the semifinals at the Shaw Park Complex on Thursday?
Okay, so to the viewers, I'd just like to say this is a very important opportunity for us to show our support to local Tobago creatives. I know a lot of young persons, even younger than myself, who mustered up all the bravery they can just to go out there. So it'd be very lovely, very encouraging to see an overwhelming amount of support by y'all coming out and showing us love on the semifinals. That's this Thursday and next Thursday.
Excellent. Now, I want to wish you nothing but the best, and I hope to see you as a part of the finalists for the competition. Now, it's not just about singing. There's a number of different talents that are a part of the Tobago Star Quest, and one of those talents that we're going to see as well is Mr. Mwasi Cummins, and we're going to take a quick look at his audition.
You be a quick man. This one is earthquake, shake up the place like earthquake. Like 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 earthquake, shake up the place like earthquake. Rip up the place like earthquake. Mash up the place like earthquake. Shake up the place like earthquake. Start to run, 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 start to run. Let me see all the crews and them. Shake it up, shake it up. Let me see all the bumpers them. Shake it up, shake it up. Angeli and she hold her friend. Shake it up, shake it up. Let me see all the madman them. Shake it up, shake it up. You could shake from east to west. You could shake from north to south. You could shake from country to town. You could shake it all around. You could shake it up and down. You could shake it round and round. Shake it up, shake it up. Shake it up, shake it up. Yo, shake up the place like earthquake. Like earthquake. Shake up the place like earthquake. Like earthquake. Shake up the place like earthquake. Like earthquake. Shake up the place like earthquake. Again, tear up the place like earthquake. Rip up the place like earthquake. Mash up the place like.
So as you could see there in that audition clip, there's a huge level of versatility happening at the Tobago Star Quest. It's not just one genre, but we have individuals from all genres and all areas when it comes to art and artistic expression. This morning we have in studio Mr. Mwasi Cummins. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Tobago.
Good morning. Good morning Tobago. Good morning Updates. Morning Star Quest. Thank you for having me.
Right. Do you feel like Star Quest was the opportunity that you have been waiting for to really get the exposure for what you have been doing for a long time?
Yes, Star Quest is the opportunity for people to really see my talents, and although the audition it catch me off guard. I was in Castor, as I say, I was just chilling out, liming with friends and family up there. I went up there to take a little waterfall bath, and shockingly, I see updates and things was setting up, and a good friend of mine asked me, "You gonna enter the competition?" I said, "What competition?" She said, "You have a big competition here, 100,000 first prize. You should try them." And I just tried them and get to do my best, and here I am today for the semi-finals.
Right. And if this was what you did when you were caught off guard, what would you really be bringing to the semi-finals on Thursday?
Well, Thursday, asking everybody to come down in Shaw Park because Mwasi Cummins, aka Bantan, it gonna be a show. It gonna be a good show down there. I'm coming to do my very best. I'm coming to mash up Shaw Park. I'm coming to tear up Shaw Park. I'm coming to do my very best. I want everybody come out. It will be a nice show because you have other competitors as well. People coming to do their best. So I guarantee you, I promise you all, it will be a show Thursday coming.
Were you a part of any of the carnival celebrations and Soca Monarch competitions?
Well, I entered the Soca Titans audition in Shaw Park. I perform at Plymouth Soca Rama. I perform in a villa down in Blackrock for the carnival time. What else again I perform?
So do you feel like that has offered you the exposure and the support from the public that you need to really come and make an impact at the Star Quest competition come Thursday evening?
Yeah, give me the confidence, yeah. Give me the confidence. Well, yeah.
Were you expecting the scale of this competition and the seriousness of it when you entered?
No, I wasn't expecting it so serious. After when I started taking and watch a different audition, I get to realize we have very plenty talented people in the competition. We have panelists, we have singers, we have dancers, we have people playing instruments. So I get to realize the competition is bigger than me. It is a big competition. It's a good thing for our career. Yeah.
All right. And for you, what do you, even in the situation where you don't win, what do you truly hope to gain from the competition outside of the financial part of it, winning 100,000 TT dollars?
Well, it's a good thing for my career to go in the competition, do my best, you know what I mean? People all over the world will be viewing and watching, you know? If I don't win, I will still do my best. Every time I go on the stage, I just try to do my best, bring a good stage show, which I will do. And the judge decision is final, whatever happen. But it got good for my career as a soca artist coming in the business. Last year I was Sweetwater Too Cold and I take over the whole place. And I decided to maintain a level and stay on top of my game. And I will always be bringing good music. I'll try my best to bring good stage show performance. And you know, it's just the best of the best. I'll be just doing whatever I have to do and just give the best. Yeah.
All right. Do you think it's important for you to rally the support of your villagers and community behind you for the semi-finals as well as the finals if you are in the finals?
Yeah, it's important for them to come and support me, you know what I mean? But I guarantee when I go in Shaw Park the night, everybody who they're listening and watching, I know how to move them, I know how to wake up the place. So if my villagers support me, yes or no, or for some reason then show up, I will still make everybody enjoy my performance, jump up and cheer, because when I'm done, I'm entitled to tear up the place. So people who don't know me, they will know me Thursday night.
So can we expect a whole theatric performance from you, live band and the whole nine?
Yeah, you'll be getting a good performance, a solid performance. I come in the perform the semi-finals like if it's a finals. I come in with everything. I come in to do my best. I come in to give out my best. And that 3 minutes on stage, it will be non-stop energy, non-stop performance, and on our live band now, so people gonna see who really Mawasi Cummins Bantan is.
Right, and have you been having any professional artist training and artist development in preparation for this competition?
Well, actually, no. Actually, I believe I'm born with the talent, but I do training on my own, practice on my own. I go down on the beach, I run, I swim. I practice on my own, I do everything on my own. I never really go to no professional for voice training, no, nothing as that. I do everything on my own and practicing on my own. I'm not saying I wouldn't like to get professional training. I would love to, but I ain't seen it as yet, so I have to work with what I get.
Understood.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you so much for coming out and representing yourself, and we wish you nothing but the best in the semi-finals and hope to see you being a part of that finals and shaking the place like earthquake.
Okay,
right? Then. Guys, we're going to take a quick look at another one of the competitors in this competition, Miss Renel Rupnarine.
Calypso music. I'm tiny, piney, and this is my story, so please don't judge me. This one a little different. And it all started when I went to all girls school. Anything gay, back when I remember, mommy put me in school. I was just a youngster, and everything was all good. The opposite gender was never in sight. Girls was loving girls so naturally, I thought it was right. I wanted a girlfriend, I wanted a wife, and now I want woman for the rest of my life. Some say I wrong and some say I right, but none of them could I never take with my pride. I live in my life to my fullest, and I always promise to keep God by my side. But don't act surprised when you see me outside, cause I know I'm not for your negative vibes. I is a killer in the darkness, yeah, I only rubbing and sparkle. Yes, they calling me a rubbing and sparking. They say eyes are killer in the darkness. Only rubbing and sparking. Yeah, killer in the darkness. Only rubbing and sparking. So I living my life and I just being me. But my grandmother get in my head and she say, how you gonna know if you never try? Try. Yeah. My grandmother tell me it can be girl till I dead. I have to try to dance and prance in a fella bed. How I gonna about it if I never try take a chance? So I call up my male best friend and I tell him pull up my pants. I give him the soulfish, I give him the rice, I give him the best and what he like. I give thanks to God cause he give me 2 child. But he's a big woman and I work for mine. Them yell and them sweet and them yell and them nice. I still think about them in the middle of the night. Sonny don't vex, I take your advice, but I still feel all selfish.
Robin and sparking. Rena Rupnara and I have her in studio here with me, and she's not sparking, but she's dazzling this morning. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
No, you had a really entertaining performance, one of those performances that went viral, we must say.
Yes.
People were taking the clip and sharing it all over and just talking about how you were very confident in walking in your truth. It wasn't just about the music, but it was about you representing a community and shifting the narrative and shifting the shame connected to being a part of the queer community. Talk to us about how you utilize your performance to represent an entire community.
So for me, my story really and truly is slightly different. I grew up in Tobago. I'm from Concordia, James Estates. I'm a part of a very musical family. My great-grandmother was a music teacher. My dad is a song engineer. And I remember being at the age of 16, I was actually diagnosed with an extreme hormone imbalance, where they explained to me that my testosterone, which is a male hormone, is a lot higher than the average that a woman would have, which is supposed to have estrogen should be higher as a woman. And I know that a lot of people kind of look at it as taboo, but for me, this is who I am, you know. Some people are affected differently. Some women get facial hair. You know, it affects people differently. For me, I did not see, like, it's not like if I decided to be like this as a trend. This is really me, and I wanted to kind of express that in my songwriting. It's a calypso song as well. I think, well, a lot of people told me it's the first time it's been done in the calypso realm. And I like to test the boundaries. I like to be different. I like to do things like that. So, yeah.
No, I think that I'm not one of the judges. I was not one of the judges. But from your performance, it seems as if your storytelling is what would have captured the judges, captured the audience. For you, how important is it to incorporate storytelling into your performance?
So for me, capturing storytelling or just having a concept in music, for me, is very important. I like going with a theme and being able to, you know, perform a theme in a sense, you know what I mean? So me creating music, that's literally me as a creative and just kind of showing, you know, who I am and, you know. Yeah. So.
When you entered the competition, did you see it as being on the magnitude that it is on, that you then discovered that, wow, this is a big deal?
Yes, I am actually very impressed, and I'm very, very, I'm happy that Tobago has something like this. I feel very lucky to be a part of it. I'm very grateful to be a part of it, and I'm very excited to move on and show you guys a lot more of me. I don't just do soca and calypso. I'm a multi-genre artist and composer. So I'm excited to kind of show you guys the different sides of me, you know, and I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Do you think that it's a risk to show a different side at the semifinals when you got in for a particular thing? Do you think that this is what the audience would be looking for and the judges would be looking for? And don't you think it's safe to stick to what got you here?
Well, for me, because of the fact that I'm very versatile, and it's not like I'm straying away from myself. I would still be, of course, singing. I'm not going to be changing the actual talent. I'm excited to kind of just show that diversity and just be a creative and give it my best.
Are you prepared to win this competition?
I am. I'm going to do my utmost best and put my best foot forward.
Do you have any talent management or any professional training that you're a part of in preparation for the competition?
I am an independent artist. I've worked alongside a lot of other artists that like kind of helped me in terms of production and like being around my dad. People like Rion Elborn, Jazzy Blaze, Sasha, Forbesy, people like that. They are like somewhat of my team. Kavisha, those are the people that are on my team. I have not really gotten any like per se professional vocal training or anything like that just yet. I intend to at some point in my career, of course. For me, my talent is natural. It comes natural. I am a naturally entertaining personality. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Do you feel like this competition was the opportunity that you have been looking for to showcase your talent on the right platform locally?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I am very much blown away by how much, press and marketing and, I think it's very much professionally put together. And I really do appreciate that for Tobago. Yeah.
Excellent. And how important is it for persons to come out, be a part and support the semi-finals on Thursday evening at the Shore Park Cultural Complex?
Yes, I feel like it's definitely important. It's something that I think it's very different for Tobago. We have a lot of good talent, to showcase. So I think it will be something very to enjoy. And we have diversity as well. We have panists, we have dancers, the category. It's going to be a good show. So I think people should come out and definitely support.
Do you have any words of advice or encouragement for your fellow competitors in the competition?
Stay confident, be yourself, make sure and put your best foot forward. That would be my advice. You know what I mean? Motivate yourself as much as possible. Practice.
What do you hope to gain from this competition outside of $100,000?
For me, it's always a pleasure to let people see my talent. Even if it's one additional person that is now getting to know who I am always grateful. I'm a very grateful person to, widen the audience for who I am as a brand and an artist. So for me, that is extremely important. I'm grateful for this platform being presented for that opportunity.
Excellent. And finally, for you, would you encourage other persons to be a part of the competition in the future from the experience that you have had so far?
Yes, thus far, I definitely will. I think it's an amazing thing for artists, even if you're like upcoming or, just building your confidence, being able to have a stage to, showcase what you can do and like even being able to, interact with an audience and things like that. I definitely would recommend it. Yes.
Excellent. Now we want to thank you so much, Renelle, and again, very entertaining performance that you had there. I was laughing the whole time, but in a good way.
Thank you.
It was pretty entertaining. So guys, we want to thank you so much for being a part of the conversation. We want to thank you for your likes, your shares and comments. And we want to encourage you to support other artists like Renelle, like Jeremy, like Mwasi and Sophia in this semi-finals come Thursday. It's only $50. It's literally only $50 to come out on Thursday night. It's a family affair. The show is it is allowing for each and every member of your family to be a part of it. It's for all ages. So you can come with your kids, come out, support Thursday night, Thursday the 14th of November. It's starting at 7 p.m. Get seated early, come out with your flags, come out, to support the artists that you want to support and give them that encouragement that they need in order to do their utmost best in this competition. So guys, we want to thank you and we want you to have a great day. Goodbye.
try. My grandmother tell me it can be girl till I die. I have to try to dance and prance in a fella bed. How I gonna about it if I never try take a chance? So I call up my male best friend and I tell him pull on my pants. I give him the soulfish, I give him the rice, I give him the best and what he like. I give thanks to God cause he give me 2 child. But he's a big woman and I work for mine. Them girl and them sweet and them girl and them nice. I still speak about them in the